Welcome, everyone, to your Anchorage Symphony's Words on Music. I'm Susan Wingrove-Reed, the principal keyboard player and the education consult for the orchestra. And I'm really excited to share some background information with you about the upcoming event in the concert hall with the Harry Potter film, where we will experience Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in concert. So combination of music and the movie, live music by your symphony. So let's start first with the composer of the music, and then I'm also going to talk a bit about the history of the Harry Potter films and then our rehearsal process for this really amazing project. We are delighted to dive into the complete film score of the first Harry Potter film, composed by legendary and beloved John Williams. Over 100 films to his credit, and he's still going strong, and he's over 90 years old. The American Film Institute awarded him their Lifetime Achievement Award for a composer. This was the first ever Lifetime Achievement Award to a musician. More Oscar nominations than any living person. He's 93 years old, and let me give you a little bit of his backstory. His dad ran a department store in Maine. His mom was from Boston, and they moved to LA in 1948, where he went to North Hollywood High School and graduated. He joined the Air Force and played piano and bass and was a conductor arranger for the U.S. Air Force Band. In 1955, after his service ended, he moved to New York City and got into Juilliard, where his goal was to become a concert pianist. But after hearing others play on the piano, it became clear, he said, that I could write better than I could play. So he worked in many jazz clubs while he was in school there at Juilliard, as well as the Eastman Conservatory, to earn some money. And then he moved back to LA and became an orchestrator for film studios. Plus, he also became a studio musician, playing the piano in one of my favorite film scores of all time, To Kill a Mockingbird. And he was also a player in the 1958 classic film Carousel. He began writing music scores for television, old shows like Lost in Space and Bachelor Father. And he got his first Oscar nomination for the movie Valley of the Dolls. Now that's a juicy novel if you want to have some fun and then see the movie. Robert Altman, the director, was making a movie based on a Raymond Chandler mystery called The Long Goodbye and collaborated with Williams. And he famously said, "Do whatever you want with the music and do something you've never done before." His first collaboration with Steven Spielberg, he met him for lunch at a Hollywood restaurant, and he wrote that he looked like a 17-year-old kid, but very brilliant, obviously. And the movie was The Reavers. A year later, Spielberg approached him about writing music for Jaws. When Spielberg first heard Williams' theme for The Shark, the two-note theme, da-da, da-da, he thought it was a joke. But then he said, Williams sat him down and said, "This approach is not the choice for the movie I just saw, the way you want to go." And Spielberg agreed. Sometimes the best ideas are the simple ones. And now that little two-note theme has become shorthand for danger in iconic classical sharing of icons. He won his second Oscar for that movie and went on to write for E.T., Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, and Star Wars, just to name a few. He announced his retirement in 2022 with the film Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, but he reversed his decision in 2023, saying, I have at least 10 more years to go. And a fun fact is that Spielberg recommended John Williams to George Lucas for the 1977 film Star Wars, and history was made again. Williams was strongly influenced in the Star Wars scores by Gustav Holst, who wrote The Planets, which the symphony in Anchorage is going to play at our April season finale concert, so don't miss it. He has also been the conductor for the Boston Pops, almost 15 years he'd served in that role, and has composed many works for orchestra performance as well as concertos. He does an annual appearance every year at the Hollywood Bowl with the LA Philharmonic and has influenced every other film composer on the planet, the most successful composer of film music in the history of the medium, without question. So now his score for Harry Potter. Even with all the incredible film scores he has created, this stands out. Starting with 2001, The Sorcerer's Stone, and every film that he did, the first three of the books that were filmed, are very special. And his music was used in all of the films in excerpt form. Warner Brothers needed a promo short for the first film, and they asked him for help. That's where he created Hedwig's theme, which is the celeste solo. And he had never seen even an inch of the actual movie footage when he wrote it. This became the music most identified with the films, magical music in all of the films. When the producer heard it, he felt it captured perfectly the world they were creating. And the rest, as they say, is history. The director of the first film, the one that we're playing for, was Chris Columbus, and Williams had collaborated with him on Home Alone 1 and 2. Columbus was really excited about the themes of the movie, innocence and magic with a touch of darkness, and has always felt that what Williams came up with was absolute perfection for the storytelling. So the movie is the introduction to the wizarding world, rules and myths, and the music is endlessly inventive and impossible to imagine the movies without this music. Williams had a yen for using influences of 19th century romanticism with a dash of the 20th century. Tchaikovsky and Wagner in particular, and the use of leitmotif, which Wagner used in his operas, which was a theme that would be identified with a character or an idea throughout an entire opera. That's what Williams did in the Harry Potter films with the characters and the action, using leitmotifs, special themes for special people and things. In 1997, a producer received a preview copy of J.K. Rowling's first Harry Potter book. And a secretary in the office read it and was really excited about it and gave it to him with an A+ review. He disliked the rubbish title, but he read it. And that led to the 1999 sale of film rights to Warner Brothers for the first 4 films. Rowling demanded that all the leads be British or Irish, unless character specific in the books, and did not want to sell the rights to give control over characters that might allow Warner Brothers to create non-author sequels. Smart move. Spielberg had been the choice to be the first director of Harry Potter's first film, but he declined, and then many were considered. Chris Columbus, it was important to find an affinity for children and magic, was his stance on the role, and he got the job. There was a 7-month search for Harry. Daniel Radcliffe had been in a theater sitting behind a casting director, and the casting director noticed his intense big blue eyes, his curious and fiery and energetic personality. And he was generous and sweet in conversation, but he was also very hungry for knowledge. So he pretty much landed the part single-handedly with that interview. In 1999, the BBC had produced a production of David Copperfield, and Daniel Radcliffe was in the leading role. So any of the myths you've heard that he came out of nowhere to land this part are not really true. Rupert Grint and Emma Watson, the other 2 leads in the characters of the books and in the movie, were respectively 11 and 10 years old, and they were chosen from thousands of auditionees. And their only experience had been in being school plays. Yay, school arts education. In hindsight, the choices of these 3 kids were brilliant and epic. Their grace and steadiness as they grew during the years of the Harry Potter films is absolutely magical. So as most people know, but just in case you don't, the beloved first book of the 7 novels about Harry Potter opens with his first year at the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The orphaned boy is living with his muggle aunt and uncle, the Dursleys, and their spoiled son, Dudley. So an owl brings an invitation, and here is a really quick summation of the plot. Harry's parents were murdered by the dark wizard Lord Voldemort when he was an infant. The killing curse against him as a baby rebounded, establishing a lightning bolt scar on his forehead. He learns that he's a wizard on his 11th birthday when Hagrid, the groundskeeper, informs him. He goes to Diagon Alley to buy a wand and other school supplies, epic scenes. Then he rides the Hogwarts Express train to school, and where he meets the people who would become his best friends, Ron and Hermione. He is assigned to the Gryffindor house by a sorting hat. He joins the Quidditch team as the Seeker, and then the film concludes with a long journey where the three friends are investigating the mystery of the Philosopher's Stone. That's the tale. The orchestra, before COVID, we did this first film with our beloved music director, Randy Fleischer. It was the final film we were ever able to do with him. And it has brought back a lot of very happy memories as I look at my score again, but it's also bittersweet. We have 3 rehearsals to put this whole project together with the conductor that's coming with the Harry Potter team. It's a really challenging score, but because we have experience with doing a silent film almost every year for over 10 years, this is experience that will help us as we revisit Harry Potter. Randy was so gifted as a conductor, a composer, and arranger, but he also had a really special gift for film collaborations, synchronizing the orchestra with a movie. It's stressful and challenging for the conductor. So when you see this production, be very aware of the challenges the conductor is facing to hold us all together, and that we are exploring very difficult music and trying to stay really tight with the beat so that we're aligned with the movie. The players each prepare their individual parts. We each have a book of the Harry Potter music, but we arrive at the rehearsal ready to watch and listen to each other to make this come together as efficiently as possible. Many of us watch the film in advance with our parts so that we can follow the parts along with the progress of the movie. There are 3 individual keyboard players in this orchestration. I will be playing piano, but there are also 2 synthesizers that will be covering the celeste parts and many other colors and sounds that were used for the film. There's lots of percussion as well as the usual suspects and the other families of the orchestra. None of us can let our attention stray during every minute of this movie. So in conclusion, we are all so excited to share the Harry Potter movie and music with all of you. It's unforgettable to experience the music played live with a big audience enjoying this classic film. Can't wait to see you in the Atwood Concert Hall. The audience inspires all the performers with your laughter and enthusiasm. And there's more live music to come in the Atwood with your Anchorage Symphony Orchestra in March and April. Thanks for supporting us. It's an honor to play keyboard with all my colleagues in the orchestra. Can't wait to see you in the concert hall.